All right, guys, let's talk about the NFC North. Listen, I dropped Justin Fields a long time ago. I don't feel bad about it.
I told y'all. Didn't I tell y'all that 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
Don't feel bad about dropping Justin Fields.
I don't feel bad about it. Should I reconsider picking up Justin Fields?
No.
What y'all gonna think he's gonna do against the Bucks this week?
Nothing.
Nothing. No chance.
I got Khalil.
Don't care.
Herbert
I don't
in my
care.
lineup.
I don't care. I've seen enough to know that, like, number one, again, I keep going back to it. This is the number one reason. That offensive coordinator,
Nagy, you mean the coach?
Sorry, the head coach,
Yeah.
and that specific offense. And we heard that he wasn't calling plays, but I still don't care. This is not a good offense.
Yeah.
It's just not a good offense.
No.
Okay? Their players are not open, okay? So whatever plays you're calling, you never see just a player just like, schemed open. To me, that's always a big, telling point in terms of how well an offense operates.
Yeah.
And they have good weapons. I mean,
Mooney's been doing pretty okay. I think A-Rod has been super disappointing.
Yeah.
But Mooney's been doing okay.
But even someone like Komet, who you like, didn't they draft him in the first round?
Second round.
Second
he was
round.
the first tight end drafted last year.
The first tight end drafted. Like, get him involved in the offense.
I don't know what's going on. You're right. That offense is broken.
It's broken.
I don't know what's going on. But again, this week, I really want to see how they look this week against the Bucks. Because we know they're going to have, well, let's not say we know, but we would assume they're going to have a difficult time running the ball.
They're going to look terrible.
We also know they're going to probably be trailing most of the game, so they're going to have to probably be passing a majority of the game. And we also know the Bucks secondary is banged up.
Yeah.
So those three things are in Fields' favor and the passing game's favor. If they can't do it against the Bucks, they just can't do it.
Well, I will say this: the Chicago Bears defense has been playing pretty good, and
they
pretty well.
They have
all season.
a good.
So
Khalil Mack is doing well.
I actually do think that they can kind of, no one's going to just completely limit the Bucks defense, but I don't think the Bucks defense is going to do what they did against the
Bucks defense.
The Bucks offense is going to do what they did against.
You think they're going to limit the Bucks offense?
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Well, let's talk about the Bucks when we get to the Bucks. Let's talk about Khalil Herbert being in that backfield. 19.2 points on
give
FFPC.
Abby credit. He was telling us in the group chat we need to consider picking up Khalil Herbert for the low.
I said pick him up. I specifically said, I was like, look, I told don't waste your fab on such as get all the Khalil Herbert right now.
Yep.
Now we still don't know what Damian Williams was going to be like because he hasn't gotten it yet. COVID hit him. He's still dealing with COVID, which means he's most likely going to be out this week. But the fact that I had those Herbert shares,
Oh yeah,
I was like, yes.
And that again, like kind of like thinking kind of globally, like it's not necessarily like the Herbert pick. It's the idea of get the guy when he's cheap. Mm-hmm. Get him before you have to spend like when you told us about Dearness Johnson.
That's exactly my approach to Dearness.
Like literally, Dayo's texting us about Dearness Johnson
that's exactly my approach.
Saturday, and I'm like, Kareem Hunt's there. Like Dearness is not, and I was like, and I'm talking about I think Felton's going to get more touches than Dearness because he'll get. Yeah, and he did, but
it was an injury away.
Yeah, he was an injury away. So I was like, you know what?
And on a guy that was banged up going into the game.
Yeah.
So I picked up quite a few shares of Dearness, and like now, like that has been so helpful because I got it for $1. I don't have to like overspend.
Like we've been saying all week for people that know Drake, that Drake album. If you're reading this, it's too late.
Oh yeah.
And all week we've been seeing waivers like pick up Dearness, and we're like, man, this is like last week's news. Like
if you're reading this, it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. He's already gone. All my leagues, he's gone. So
he's gone. Yeah.
I didn't know that was from the Drake album.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just late.
Oh, you sleep.
Yeah, I'm sleeping. Cool. I'm late. I be late with Bob. You
don't watch.
I can only do so much. You don't know. I can only do so much.
All right,
I barely got time for get through my waivers. Come on, now.
Let's talk about the Detroit Lions. We talked about them earlier. I think off camera. Abby, you said that you're dropping Jamal Williams.
No,
no.
I'm dropping Jamal.
But that's an emotional play.
It probably is. It probably is. But the reason I'm dropping because I went into the season thinking it was going to be, if not 50-50, 60-40. Mm-hmm. But Swift is taking over that backfield, and Swift looks great.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Swift has been banged up. He's kind of been banged up this whole season, groin or whatever. And if he gets hurt, Jamal Williams will get that work. But even when I've been watching Jamal Williams play recently, he hasn't looked that great. Mm-hmm. He's not very shifty. The offense as a whole doesn't look that great. They're not producing. I'm not excited about him.
He's just like a slight tier above like an Alex Collins. These guys are not. There's a reason these guys don't just start for NFL teams.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
But he has like a lot of energy.
Yeah.
You know, he gets you to positive yardage.
Let me ask you this: would you drop Jamal Williams for Devontae Freeman?
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
Okay. What about Rashad Penny?
Because I know, like, if I need, say what?
What about Rashad Penny?
I shouldn't say hell no. I shouldn't. Let me walk that back a little bit.
Think about it a little bit. Think
Let me
about it a
walk
little
that back.
bit.
But I'm not dropping any shares of Jamal Williams because I know, as much as I love Swift, okay, as much Swift as I own,
You think he has a danger of getting?
he's literally one injury away from Jamal just getting all of those carries,
Right.
all of those. It's the receptions, and we specifically broke down why. I specifically said why I was so high on Swift because you had a non-mobile quarterback and a bad offense with with not the greatest pass weapons. Who's going to be fighting from behind? And
Right.
what do we see?
Well, okay.
It's all fourth quarter work, but that's what we
What if I told you
anticipated.
Swift was not going to be hurt the rest of the season? Like, if I just for some reason,
Oh
knew
yeah, then I would drop him if I knew that for sure.
that like Jamal Williams doesn't have value in that case, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're
Okay.
right. You're right.
And I guess that's where I'm coming at it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm basically making a bet that I don't think or I don't assume Swift is going to get hurt soon. Now it can happen at any moment, but if Swift doesn't get hurt, I can't put Jamal Williams in my lineup.
Right.
He's literally a roster clogger.
Let's all send us some prayers, okay? We need Swift healthy.
Yeah. Swift has looked really good.
Yeah.
The Lions' offense is whole. Like Hawkinson's starting to disappoint me a little bit. He's still getting a little bit of work. He's still getting the targets, but I think defenses are kind of
That was
targeting
my
him.
issue, and that's why I did not want to spend a third round pick. I'm not taking a victory lap because you can see Hawkinson go off
Well,
at
I
any
mean,
point. He's getting targets, but my issue was just like, and I specifically said I was like, I don't know that he's that good, given that they have such limited targets.
Well,
that-
which tight ends are you taking over Hawkinson right now?
What have I been saying in the group chat like this entire week in terms of tight ends?
Yeah, Mark Andrews.
No. What have I in terms of like drafting tight ends in the future? I said don't
So
ever let me
wait till the end.
draft.
don't ever let me draft a tight end early ever again.
Yeah.
Ever again because we can find these
okay,
guys
put it
late.
like this.
That's the only reason
we can find them because we were all on RSJ.
It may take a little time.
We were all on RSJ and whoever else we're on.
Knox,
We were
RSJ,
all-
like
but if we were
got
all in the
tons
same
of
league
Knox.
together, and I happen to get Knox and RSJ on y'all asses, then what are y'all gonna do at that point?
you can't have both of them.
Why not? I have both of them in several leagues. Do you have both of them on teams?
Okay, but who did-
we got both of them in our main event league?
Okay,
team.
and then we sent out a number of different tight ends to start last week, and they pretty much all hit. Mo Alley Cox, obviously RSJ.
Mo Alley Cox only had one catch for 8 yards and a touchdown. He only had like 9 points.
Did he have a touchdown? Did he score a touchdown?
Okay.
Because it's a tight end, you know? I mean, there's just so many quarterback tight ends that you can kind of get late nowadays.
Hawkinson
Ertz.
is still getting a lot of targets. He's still getting the touches.
Yeah.
I think that offense as a whole, because the receivers aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
There's literally no receivers there. Like they
keep
lost
getting hurt.
Cephas, they lost Tyrell Williams.
Yeah.
What's going on with Tyrell Williams?
I have
He
no
had a
idea.
concussion week 1, and he's been gone ever
Just
since.
never came back. Yeah.
Amon St. Brown, I think, is their best wide receiver, who's
he's
a
like
rookie, who's a
yeah.
small guy.
Yeah, he's like
Khalif
a-
Raymond, who's just as small as Amon St. Brown, is getting work. Who else they have?
That's it.
Hawkinson and Swift. That's
Just
it.
Hawkinson
But the
and
problem is like, Hawkinson, I think, I don't know. He definitely, he'll have his like breakout games. I'm not saying he's a bad pick whatsoever. I'm just saying, I try to avoid taking tight ends that early because I just I want a guy who's going to give me week in and week in.
Would you have
production.
taken Mark Andrews there?
No.
Okay, Mark Andrews has been.
He does for
he's been
now.
pretty damn
Like
good.
he looks great now.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but then like when we come
What about
back
Kittle? Do we regret taking? First of all, I didn't draft. I think I have one
I
Kittle
have
on one of my
no
teams.
shares.
none of us were on Kittle.
The people that drafted, you think they regret?
shares. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You think Kittle's gonna be drafted anywhere in the top 3 next year?
No.
So he'll
Dang.
be drafted in the top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, top,
Not in
Top
the second
three?
round.
top 3.
Because this
Are
year
you
he was drafted in the top 2. I'm talking about rounds.
Yeah, top three.
Because
rounds.
right, this year he was drafted in the
He's
back
not-
end of the second.
Yeah, he'll maybe fall to like the back of the third, mid third, somewhere around.
That's
there.
not much of a fall then for his
Yeah.
the type of
He's a
production he's
name.
giving.
He's a name. People are not gonna just drop him.
Yeah, okay. So the name is still gonna get him by.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think
think
Pitts
so.
is gonna jump him.
Pitts is gonna
Andrews is
jump
gonna jump him.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hawkinson jumps. Just
Doesn't
kind
matter
of
if they jump him. He's still going. He's not going past the third.
That
That means you're saying there's a bunch of tight ends that go into the first 2-3
And
rounds.
I'm not taking not one damn one of them.
Not now.
You know what? And let's not totally ignore Logan Thomas because Logan Thomas wasn't bad. If he comes
Man, he's
back,
been good. Yes.
if he comes back and kind of reassert himself. The only thing about Logan Thomas, now that RSJ has looked the way he's looked, are they just going to give the whole pie back to Logan, or are they now going to be?
You get the majority of it. Even RSJ worked in a little bit when Logan was there, but that was my cutoff. And then when Logan started kind of going up to the sixth round, I was like, no.
Fans look pretty okay.
Yes. So the 7th round tight end. Ideally, what I wanted
and Goddard's about to start to be a thing too.
Ideally, what I wanted to do with tight end was like draft all my skill positions first, and then tight end. And then tight end.
Yeah.
Get the value.
Okay.
All right. So speaking of value, listen, we all expected A.J. Dillon to kind of come in at some point. Season is still early. The NFL season is still early. We're halfway through the fantasy season.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones still healthy, still kicking, still looks good.
But Dillon's been he's been
getting work.
Okay.
Yeah. His work has been kind of
increasing.
But not enough for you to start him, though.
No, he's not.
I started him the week where he got that pass touchdown. I started him. Luckily, I mean, it was by necessity.
Yeah.
So I was happy about that. Aaron Jones has not been blowing up though.
He hit that one game where he had
it was like week 2, right?
Right,
on a primetime game. Yeah. Everybody watched it. But other than that,
look, I didn't draft Aaron Jones for September and October. Okay, I drafted Aaron Jones for November and December, and they play in Green Bay where it gets cold.
Do you see A.J. Dillon's role increasing then?
Yeah, I do.
So you still think Aaron Jones? So you think it's just going to become a running team? Or what do you think?
I think so, especially when it gets colder.
He was one of your highest handcuffs, though. Like, he was towards the top of...
Yeah, but then his ADP started creeping up a little bit, But, yeah, he was definitely one of my highest handcuffs because it just takes one Aaron Jones injury. And you've already seen... This is the thing that I love. You've already seen him incorporated in the pass game with Aaron Jones healthy.
Yeah.
Okay? I saw enough last year when he played that one game where Aaron Jones was injured. And he just he was in the snow. It was like sometime in like November, December. I forget who they were playing, but he just looked like an absolute beast.
Yeah,
I saw enough then. So I was it's a play to win play.
We're definitely not saying dropping him or anything like that. And again, I started him recently, so if you're in a pinch,
I started him last week.
If you're in a pinch, put him in your lineup. See what happens, man, because he can do some good things for you.
He getting started this week for sure.
Now, what about Adams? Any concern?
No.
Devontae Adams? Hell no.
Okay.
I think you drafted him in the first round. You feeling pretty happy.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't done much in these last couple games.
What?
Last game he didn't do much. I think he had like 3 catches for like 70-something yards.
He's had maybe like 1, maybe 2 down games, really. He's only had 2 down games. And one of those games was the New Orleans game where everyone just got to kind of throw that out the books. But even then, there have been plenty of first-round picks that have – I don't think any first-round pick has smashed every single week.
Right, except for King Henry.
No, he didn't smash every week. His first game was not good. So,
and a 12.4 and a 12.9 week, it's not necessarily a dud.
That's his absolute
12-point game for a first-round receiver. That's
but those are his down weeks though. Like he still gave you 20.
Oh yeah,
Week 2, 31.
I'm not saying as a whole he's been a disappointment.
37.
I'm just saying those weeks are not what you would want from your main.
But that kind of goes back to the whole.
receiver.
That goes back to the whole idea of people saying, "Oh, this is the year to go 0 RB." Forget, ignore people who talk about strategy. 0 RB, this
just
and that.
Take the best player.
Man, just take the best player.
Take the players that are going to score all the fantasy points, and you'll win.
And pray they don't get injured. That's literally it.
Right.
Take the best players that score the most points that aren't going to get injured.
Yeah.
If you can do that,
it's easy. Honestly, fantasy is really easy if you really think about it like that. Yeah.
But yeah, it really does not matter.
Difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you loaded up on RBs early because honestly, some of my best teams are RB heavy, and I just took the right RBs. I took Najee Harris and Austin Eckler and Zeke Elliott. I took the right RBs. I wasn't super high on Antonio Gibson. We had that whole podcast where I was talking about that. But I did take the discount on Barkley. Some weeks it's looked great, but then obviously he had the injury. So, and then anyone who had the first overall pick, you basically took CMC. But the thing is too is for all those teams where I went RB robust, those are my only teams where I have players like Mike Williams, Deebo Samuels, okay? And almost all my teams have either Brandon Cooks or Marquise Brown. So me going RB early allowed me to take these late round wide receivers, which is the reason why I did that, because I felt comfortable that I'm more likely to find these guys late. And then guess what I still did? I still loaded up on these handcuffed RBs.
Right.
So I feel like I got the best of both worlds.
Right.
You know, like, okay, my RB gets hurt. Well, guess what?
Well,
I got Alexander Madison, a bunch of teams.
I'll say
We're
this.
picking up, Khalil Herbert. So
Yeah.
there's no strategy. You
I'll say this.
Draft the best players.
I agree. I don't think there's any ideal strategy. Again, just pick the best players. One strategy can work 1 year, and the next year a different strategy can work. It's the same amount of players don't get hurt every season. Right now we're having this situation where a whole bunch of these high end or starting running backs are getting hurt. Next year it might come around, only a small percentage of these running backs get hurt. So who's to tell? What I will say is, for the people that do like to go zero running back, if you're in a league with me, that strategy is not going to be very, very promising for you, because those same like handcuff or backup running backs that you're targeting late,
Yeah.
I'm taking
them too. I don't care what I drafted early.
Yeah.
I'm still going to be after those. So we're going to be competing for these high end, mid-end, low-end running back handcuffs. I'm going to be trying to get them too. Just because I drafted running backs in the first 4 rounds don't mean I'm just going to say, okay, forget it, I'm good now. Because I know it's a game of attrition and these guys get hurt. So,
and the funny thing too is, like, if you go back to like our earlier pods, we talked about this as far as like, okay, if I'm going RB robust, like these are the wide receivers that I'm looking at late, and most of these guys are hitting.
Yeah.
We talked about Emmanuel Sanders. We talked plenty of times about AJ Green. Even like a player like that where you can get late and get like good production to kind of get you, like all of these players, you can find late players at almost any position, week in and week out. Running back though is hard because you need that injury, okay, and then you need to hope that you have that handcuff and hope that you held on to said handcuff,
like Madison.
Yeah,
right?
and if you didn't, you have to make sure you bid the right amount, because somebody else can outbid you. Or whatever. So
a little secret, like when I go through waivers,
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No. No.
I know exactly what you're about to say, because that did help me like kind of
Next
figure
topic.
out like I was going to set it up. All right, Minnesota Vikings. I want to go through them real quick. We've already talked about Dalvin Cook going out, Madison stepping in, one of the highest handcuffs drafted in FFPC. One thing that we did talk about earlier on in the season, though, was who's going to be receiver one on that Minnesota Vikings team.
I don't think we put it on tape.
Did we not?
No, that was poker night.
Oh, it was.
That was poker night. That was poker night.
All right. Halfway through fantasy season, who's going to be receiver one?
It's going to be Justin Jefferson. He's the alpha receiver. Now, you're not going to have Justin Jefferson, no receiver outside of that Michael Thomas year for the most part. Maybe Devontae Adams last year. Is just going to dominate all touches. But those are very specific situations because they are the only good wide receivers, excellent wide receivers on their team. So I have plenty of Thielen. Like, we were drafting him in, especially when he was going in the 5th and 6th round. But if you're asking who's the best wide receiver, to me it's Jefferson. If you watch the games, his ability to separate, his yak, etc., to me it just excels. So I like Jefferson. Definitely an argument can be made, in terms of, okay, should their ADPs be so far apart? To me, that's more of just an issue that maybe Thielen shouldn't be drafted as late. But we've also seen Thielen struggle and have quite a few bad games. Even in Justin Jefferson's bad games, he's giving you pretty good value. So he's giving you a safe floor with that upside appeal. So that's why I like Justin Jefferson as, the ideal wide receiver in that lineup.
No?
I mean, if you recall, my stance was I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being Thielen. Now, initially, of course, I would say Jefferson. He was the guy that people, if I had to draft, if I was in a round and those were my two options, I would have taken Jefferson before Thielen. But I also know with the type of offense they have and the fact that Thielen was still wide receiver 2, they have a very narrow passing tree, that Thielen can have a season where he ends up possibly scoring more touchdowns or having more high-end games, kind of like this last game where he had a higher-end game than Jefferson. So if we by the end of the season we looked at the numbers and we found that Thielen scored more fantasy points than Jefferson, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, if I was to make a bet, I would have put my money on Jefferson. But I wasn't going to say I 100% am positive sure Jefferson is that guy. And we're kind of seeing it play out. They're having I think Jefferson has had higher games than Thielen thus far. But look at this last game. Thielen had the higher game by a good amount. So we'll see how it all plays out. Neither of them has gotten injured thus far, which is fortunate.
Yeah.
Right.
Injuries can also play a part in all of this.
Yeah.
We're only halfway. We're not even halfway through the season. We're like in the first quarter or third of the season. So we'll see how it happens.
All right, guys. Let's talk about the AFC South. Listen, that's
Tyler Conklin, shout out. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about the AFC South for a second. I hate to start off talking about our Houston Texans, but let's go ahead and talk about Texans
them
for a second. Listen, Mills being in at quarterback.
Man, Mills has not looked that bad.
That's what I was gonna say. The crazy
Mills
thing
does
is,
not look that bad.
I thought he was gonna look horrible, to be honest with you. And
His last
I'm
game,
the
he does not look
optimist.
that bad.
He's actually been doing something. I'm like, what is this?
He's messing up my Brandon Cook shares.
No, he did. He got you.
He's
He
been
got you
talking to
good
Brandon
20
Cooks a
points
little
last
bit.
one.
Last game he scored.
Last game, but the game before that.
It don't matter who was at quarterback against New England. They were going to take away Brandon Cooks. That's what Belichick does. Takes away the best player.
No,
you shouldn't have started in that game. You can't be scared
Why
to
is
sit
all
to
this
play.
attack on me?
I'm just saying. I literally said it in the text. This is not a Brandon Cooks week.
Yeah, the thing with the Texans for me is once Tyrod went down, a lot of the hope for me kind of went with him because he was like that steady force for them. Because we just lost. We didn't lose Watson, but we just went from having one of the best quarterbacks in the league to this other guy that nobody went. They didn't care who he was. It wasn't Watson, so they weren't feeling it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Tyrod, as y'all saw from the beginning of the season, he was that steady force that kind of was able to keep us in games.
Facts.
Once he got hurt, I was like, okay, this ain't gonna happen. Now we're no third round rookie quarterback, and he looked horrible to start off.
Oh, man,
He did.
looked
And then
terrible.
against who was the Bills?
The Bills.
Looked even worse.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
But that was the Bills stuff.
But then these last couple games, I'm like, okay,
No,
he's throwing these touchdowns. Okay,
And look, I've been very critical, okay? And I've completely called this a rebuild from the get-go. And I get where you're coming from because I think there's definitely some truth to that. And that's why, to me, it was important that we just didn't ignore all the Texans wide receiver or, players, when it came to drafting. But really, I do feel like Mills has played very well. So much so that, obviously, I have quite a few shares of Cooks and, I'll start them most weeks. But I'm also picking up Nico Collins. I'm picking up Nico
and that's
Collins.
another thing. Nico's been hurt.
Yeah.
Nico got hurt
Nico's
the same
been
game
hurt.
Tyrod got hurt. We really don't even know what he's gonna be.
He's been playing with a lot of scrubs. Chris Connolly is a scrub.
Chris Moore.
Like,
where did he come from?
Let me call these players scrubs. But they're not very good wide receivers compared to other NFL wide receivers. But Nico is like that big-bodied wide receiver, and I think he's just going to build more rapport. But I'm to the point, what I was saying, I'm to the point where I don't want Tua. Don't send me Jalen Hurts, okay?
Talking about the Texans?
The Texans.
Now, I wouldn't mind Jalen Hurts. He's from Houston. He's from Houston.
I don't care. I don't want him.
You want to rock with Mills for a little bit.
I want to rock
see
with
what he
Mills.
got. Yeah.
I don't even want Tyrod to come back. I mean, I love Tyrod. I wish him all the best.
Really?
I want Tyrod to go to a team where he's valued. Where he has some value. Because I understand the idea.
So you want to see what Mills got.
I want to see what Mills got. There's no point in bringing back Tyrod at this point. Everybody is gone.
That'll be like 4 teams in a row where Tyrod lost the starting job.
I know.
From injury.
Everybody's gone.
Gosh.
And I got Tyrod on my draft sharks. I was in the lead. I kind of needed him. But
I want to see.
I'm
I just want to see him get a chance because I feel
for the team on that one.
I feel like this is his opportunity, man.
Yeah.
But the way Mills is looking, you might have a point there.
But again, sorry, we don't want to spend too much time on Texans, but he's making some of the wide receivers relevant. So obviously you got Brandon Cooks there, but Nico's another guy that I'm looking at, and we just need one of these running backs to get traded, get cut, or something to happen. So, and there will be potentially a viable running back. But name your guy.
I was gonna throw my dynasty guy stashes later.
Yeah,
but Scotty Phillips.
Keep that name in the back of your head.
Just if you hear at any point they say something about making him active.
Yeah. Because this
guy.
is the type of team, I think we talked about it last episode. When we get later in the season, then these teams that really don't have much to play for, they get in evaluation mode. There's no reason for them to play Ingram. There's no reason for them to play David Johnson. They're going to play some of these younger guys.
That's how Aaron Foster got noticed.
Yeah.
He played at the end of the season, did well, and then he went into the next season as a starter.
Yeah, so names like that are guys that you like, because we all know once you get into the playoffs, and especially in the championship round, sometimes it's just it's a coin flip, and it's like you could start this no-name guy, and that guy can explode.
All right, let's get out the Texans.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move to the Colts. Let's talk about the Colts for a second.
Yeah.
You guys were high on Mo Alley Cox. Listen, he looks good.
We would not say we were high on Mo Alley.
You were high on him. I mean, I wouldn't say high.
It was a matchup play.
But like high, considering that nobody was talking about him, right? Like
it's a matchup
they are
play.
like, hey, like that's a guy to take a look at. Are you playing him further after this matchup?
He's a week to week player. I'm cutting him across the board.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I'll let somebody. This is the thing. This is where you win. You play them when they score. You bench them and cut them when they don't score. Mm-hmm. And then you let somebody else pick them up, especially in your home leagues, and then you let them play them in a bad matchup because they just saw, oh, this player just went off. Mm-hmm. Like that was like Uzoma that 1 week. Mm-hmm. Let somebody else play them, let them take that dud, and then you play them in the right matchups.
Right.
These players like that are week-to-week plays, matchup plays, and I got lucky with the touchdown, but that's part of the analysis.
Right.
That's what the Texans give up. They give up production to the tight end, and that Colts offense targets tight ends in the red zone. So 2 and 2 kind of came together. But I have no issues cutting players like that. Players like
as
that.
As far as the Colts, I'm gonna give Wentz his credit. He's been look good lately. Now he's playing against bad matchups, but the matchups are what they are.
Right.
He got a couple more bad matchups.
Exactly. He has a couple more coming up soon. I wouldn't even mind if you picked up Wentz and played him in the next few weeks. I love what Jonathan Taylor's been looking like lately.
Oh man, sorry.
I love what.
Okay, are y'all picking up Watson? We have to mention that. We did not mention
Deshaun Watson.
We don't have to talk about the trade, but
Are you picking him up?
Are you picking him? Are you adding him in any leagues?
No,
I'm not. But I wouldn't fault people for doing it. I get it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm adding him.
Not. Yeah.
The teams where I found the teams where I'm adding Watson are my Russell Wilson teams. Okay. Is that dart throw or teams where like I'm just struggling at quarterback, like I went naked Tannehill and I got sucked into Sam Darnold. Oh man, I can't wait to talk about Sam Darnold. But like those teams are like, okay, let me see what happens. Like if I got the space, if I can kind of stomach a week or two.
If you got the space, do it. Stay ready because that's the ultimate stay ready.
Yeah.
You know. I'm not.
They got weapons.
The way my team is built, I'm not.
Strong. All right, but my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. What were we just talking about, anyways?
Let's talk about that backfield with Nyheim Hines.
The Colts. Okay, so Jonathan Taylor looked good. Nyheim Hines, for some reason, his role has been reduced a little bit. Maybe because how great Taylor's looking. They're playing Mac a lot more. Maybe because they showcase him. But if Mac is traded, he has some value. Now I know there's been rumors the Chiefs have been looking at him. I don't think he's going to go to the Chiefs, but wherever he does go, it's a team that obviously covets him to trade for him. And him coming off that Achilles, you would have thought there was a little bit of concern, but when he got burned, he's looked like a viable running back. So if you're a person that's probably hurting that running back, and you just want somebody that can maybe give you a little, boost, in these next few weeks, that's a guy I would probably stash. But we'll see how that goes. But besides that, Jonathan Taylor doing great. Probably looks like, other than Henry, I would say he probably looks like the best running back in the NFL.
Eckler. Yeah. Eckler.
Like running back.
Running back, like pure running back.
Okay.
Pure running back. I think it's like Jonathan Taylor. I do like what I've been seeing out of Pittman. I was liking what I was seeing out of Paris. Paris is gone now. T.Y.'s back, so maybe that's going to be an even exchange. T.Y.'s hurt now. T.Y. might not even play this week, so we'll see. But Pittman's kind of doing his thing. I don't know what I think about the Colts.
The problem with their wide, this is why I wasn't on their wide receiving core. They spread the ball around. They've done that for years. Okay, under this head coach and OC.
Yeah.
So it's never a situation where you just have an out. So it's hard to figure out week in and week out.
Speaking of that specific point, I played Pascal this week because I knew they were playing the Texans.
And zero.
Yeah.
Zero. He did the same thing to me.
Super did.
But they also had Hilton come back. Okay,
the Paris got hurt in the second quarter.
He got help, but they were up by so much. They were just kind of running the ball out, and they played they played some rookie or a younger player. I can't remember.
Receiver.
Yeah, receiver. He was getting more work the week before against Baltimore.
Is it Denzel Patman?
No, it wasn't him. It was somebody. It was like somebody else.
Knowing that you played Pascal along with me makes me feel
bro, I was
better.
So mad.
I was more embarrassed. I was so embarrassed.
But he's been steady. He was a steady receiver for them.
Yeah.
Leading up to that game. And then you're playing the Texans.
Yeah.
Who had one of the worst secondaries. Like, it's easy matchup.
Yeah, but when they have so many pass targets and they're going to be up, like, you just basically hoping that he's the one that catches the touchdown.
No, but look. Pittman did okay. Paris did okay. T.Y. did okay. Yeah. And this man gets zero.
Yeah.
Man, come on, man. You're dead to me. Like, I'm never playing him ever for the rest of my life.
Yeah. No, I get it. Let's move on to the Jags. They finally get their first.
Dillon. That was the guy's name.
Oh, Ashton Dillon.
Dillon.
No, he's nice.
When I saw him
he's
catch
not a rookie
pass,
though. He's a second-year guy.
Okay, when I saw him catch a pass against Baltimore, I was like, okay,
Wait.
I want nothing to do with this.
Wait. Did he catch a pass against the Texans?
Yes. No, not against the Texans. Against,
Oh, I was about to
Baltimore.
say.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say Pascal's super dead, like bury in the ground, never resurrecting type
like,
thing.
Ashton Dillon, who is this?
Yeah, he was an undrafted guy. He was one of those Division II schools. He was actually had a little buzz in the draft last year.
All right, so let's talk about the Jags for a second. We got to talk about them. They finally get their first win of the season over across the pond. Listen, outside of James Robinson, I know you guys picked up some Trevor Lawrence. Have you guys played Trevor Lawrence so far this season?
Yes, I have.
I played
him last week.
I played him last week too.
I'm telling you, these are matchup plays. Don't look at these players. Stop looking at players as season long. Mm-hmm. Just because you have a player in your roster does not mean you have to play him week in and week out.
Almost treated almost DFS-ish a little bit.
Yeah, Kamara's, Chubb, those high end guys. Yes, those are just fixtures in your lineups. But these other guys, like, they're just like, you hit them. No, I don't want to say. These are guys that you just play. You just play a matchup. Like get the points and then put them on your bench.
Yeah.
That way, it's like, okay. When I look at the entirety of the year and I look at my QB production based off of my start-sit decision, I want to end up with the QB1. And if you did that, then whatever you did at QB worked. Okay, that's kind of how I evaluate it. But the Jags, they're disappointing, but they're still viable fantasy players on that squad. As much as I didn't like Laviska coming into the year for all the reasons we talked about. Now there's no DJ Chark. Laviska's playing a very much different role. You got to assume like
the offense can put up points, especially because they need to score because they've been losing all these games.
That's the biggest thing.
So they have to keep putting up points regardless. Like even last week, Laviska's going into halftime where he had like 2 catches for nothing. But then by the end of the game, he had a better stat line. As long as they're trailing, all the way up to the final second of the game, they're gonna keep trying to produce.
And this is the biggest thing too, is that like James Robinson's not going to continue to get these cake matchups when it comes to rushing. So yes, he's a good runner, and yes, he'll still have production. Obviously, you're going to start him week in and week out, but they're not going to just be able to like give it to James Robinson and have him.
But the good thing about James Robinson, and there's one other player I want to mention that y'all know who I'm probably talking about. But the good thing about James Robinson is they're not really giving Carlos Hyde much work. So he really is having a majority of that pie in that backfield. But the player I did want to mention is Jamal Askew. Now, here's the crazy thing with Jamal Askew. He was with the Lions, right? The dude was a cornerback, maybe a safety, but he was a DB. Played return man for the Lions as a DB. Was so great as a return man, they decided to give him some offensive snaps. Okay, gets a little snap here and there.
They De'Oned him,
Yeah, they De'Oned him a little bit. Now he's playing with the Jags. Again, started as a return man. I think they actually are only playing him in offense as a gadget guy, but now that DJ Chark is gone, they're giving him more touches. But this guy started the game, I think, in the first 3 targets in the game. And he's looked good.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, should I start targeting Askew? Because we know he has the ability to take it to the house. He almost has that Albert Wilson type ability in him. And I think people are still sleeping on him. I grabbed him a fair amount of my dynasty leagues.
Remember they had Tavon Austin the week before, and I was like, wait, come on.
Tavon Austin's still there. I think he started his last game too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He should be able to take away that role from Tavon Austin.
Yeah. But don't sleep on him because especially if they don't have any other options available to them and they're gonna have to keep passing the ball, he's gonna keep getting work. I think he scored double digits the last couple of weeks.
It's gonna be a struggle with this offense because Marvin Jones is probably like the
safest.
1A. But even then, he's still not that safe. So this is definitely not the offense we were hoping for.
Our hope is they improve. You got to remember, it's still a young quarterback, a rookie coach. You would think they would get better. And they're coming off in a win.
I don't trust this team.
Yeah, now, of course, at the moment, we don't trust them. Still a long season.
But you know what? So to me, them winning was less about them winning and more about Miami losing, which is why now we're getting all these Deshaun Watson rumors.
Yeah.
When you lose to the Jags, this laughing stock of the team or the league, that's when like the heads
Especially
up
coming off the week that they
that's
came
when the
off to.
owner, the GM are like, look, like this is like, come on,
This ain't
now.
gonna work.
Come on,
we
now.
just lost to the Jags. Like the Texans beat the Jags.
Reevaluate,
Yeah.
reevaluate. Come on, like this, come on. So
They're one in something, right? The Dolphins. They only beat the Patriots week 1.
I think so. I'm not sure. Let's see.
I think and that was the game Damian Harris fumbled, which
Yeah.
they should have lost because if Damian Harris didn't fumble, the Patriots would have scored.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Dolphins, they don't have the first round draft pick this year. They traded it to the Eagles.
Oh,
they're in win now mode. So they need to get Deshaun Watson.
Win now mode with no wins.
Yeah. But let's move on. Let's talk about the Titans for a second.
Yeah.
They're probably my most disappointing team just because
Why?
I put them on that pedestal. I know that they're 4-2, and this win meant
You thought they were going to be better than this?
I still thought that they were going to be better.
I told you this team is schizophrenic. They play to the level of their competition. They will look like absolute garbage one week, and they'll look like Super Bowl contenders the next week. They've done that for now the last 2 or 3 years.
Do you think they should have lost this game?
Yes.
No.
You
Why?
think-
No.
They should've lost.
They went in.
They beat the Bills.
They beat the Bills. They went in and did what they did.
Okay.
Just 'cause, look, for a couple reasons. One, on the offensive end, they run through Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry ran over the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Okay, so they established what they needed to do. You also saw the return of AJ Brown. He started looking more like AJ
What
Brown
was
this
that?
game.
Because
Yeah.
going into the game, he's sick. He's gonna be on a
He had
target
food
count.
poisoning. He had food-
I know he was sick, but they were just making it. They were almost depressing his value going into the game.
No, he literally had food poisoning. Like he was almost.
Yeah, no,
not
he's
gonna
still
play.
sick now. I don't think he practiced
Yeah.
today. But they were saying his snap share was going to be reduced or
Yeah.
anything like that. And then the game comes. I think the first half he was kind of. I don't think he
Yeah.
had a catch the first quarter or something
Yeah.
like that. But then by the second half, he looked like freaking Jerry Rice out there or something like that. Like
Yeah,
what happened?
I honestly, I think it was all Derrick Henry. So if you saw like they were like deep crossers, so and they were off play action, and it was a typical AJ Brown
Yeah.
play. And the reason I say he's AJ Brown-ish is because normally AJ Brown would have taken
Take it to the house.
taken to the house because he had a
Yeah.
couple of those where like normally he can pick up some speed and some
Yeah.
acceleration and take that to the house, but they was all off play action.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry punched them in the mouth,
Yeah.
and they had no choice but to dedicate resources. And you saw the linebackers
Creeping up.
bite on every single play action, and AJ Brown was wide open
Right.
on those plays. So
I still think the Bills should have won that game.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Bills lost that game more than the Titans won it. Maybe it's a
But
mixture
the
of
Titans
both.
also, and this is the thing too, the Titans also lost. They had some defensive injuries. They lost their
Julio
cornerback.
went out.
But I'm talking about on the defensive end. They lost their
Yeah.
cornerback. They had a lot of cornerback injuries.
They lost their first round pick, Caleb Farley,
for the year now.
or whatever his name
Yeah.
was.
So, but they came in with a very good game plan of bend
Vrabel-
but don't break.
Mike Vrabel was doing his thing.
Yeah.
Bend but don't break. And they had a lot of penalties. They had just a lot of just like error type plays. So I don't like people are making it seem like the Bills just just completely gave that game up. No.
Yeah.
Actually the Titans were giving that game away
Right.
throughout the game. If you watch closely with some of the defensive, personal foul penalties, some of the offsides, just a lot of just like I don't want to call them stupid plays, but plays that like really put them in bad situations.
Yeah.
So but again, this is a team that I think could like literally win the Super Bowl or a team that could potentially
The
miss the
thing
playoffs.
with them is
Wow.
again going. I do think the Bills should have won that game and had every opportunity all the way to the very end to win that game,
Yeah.
which would have put another loss on the Titans. And I also think that Seattle game that Tennessee won, Seattle should have won. That was the game that went to overtime where Seattle had the lead
Yeah.
most of the game, and then Tennessee came back in the fourth quarter
Yeah.
and then won in overtime. So this team could easily be 2-4, and we could be saying something totally different about that game. I do feel like they're coached very well. They're coached never to give up.
Yeah.
Keep fighting to the bitter end, and
Yeah,
that's
I
the
like
type of
Vrabel.
that's the type of team that can almost like play better than their abilities, if you will. I'm not sure how far they can go, but as long as you're in contention, you have a chance, and that's what benefits them. So we'll see. I think the Jekyll and Hyde analogy is good because they are a team where they kind of play to their competition. If they're in a shootout, I'm not sure if they can compete unless the defense just can't stop Henry. Like this last Bills defense just couldn't stop Henry.
I think, but I think Tannehill will get better.
And that's the
They just
thing.
could
I don't know
lift
about Tannehill. Really
I feel like they'll get better. I feel like Tannehill has had to deal with a lot of injuries at wide receivers. He's throwing to guys like Nick Westbrook-Akini. Did I get that right? I got that right.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that right. Okay. I mean, he's throwing it, so like he's had
What
a lot
happened
of
to Chester
issues.
Rogers? Is he hurt?
No, he's still
Okay.
playing. But yeah, I think Westbrook-Ikini is the guy you want if Julio is out, because they're going against KC, so you got to assume that they may have to pass. Oh, just a quick update regarding Latavius Murray. Our doctor in the house, physical therapist Carlos Reyes, believes that Latavius Murray may be out 3 to 5 weeks, so that he anticipates it.
Whoa.
Based off of kind of what he is seeing. Again, this is preliminary info, okay? So don't hold him to this, but I specifically asked him about this. I don't know. I saw that play and I just did not like the way that it looked. I felt like Latavius was going to be out a little bit sooner. So that's been the reason why I've kind of been like, maybe hyping up Freeman a little bit more so than I normally would.
Okay.
All right. Like I wanted to move to the NFC South, but since you brought up Latavius Murray, let's talk about the AFC West right quick.
Latavius Murray's on the AFC North. We already talked about the Ravens.
We talked about the Ravens.
That's the Ravens.
Oh, Ravens. I don't know why I was jumping to the Raiders because I wanted to talk about.
You're thinking about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
4 teams ago from Latavius Murray.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He went to the Vikings. He went to the
Yeah.
Saints. He's like, he's still on the Raiders. No, it's been a long time.
AFC West. All right, so let's go to the NFC South like I wanted to do anyway. And let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Listen, Cordell Patterson has really eaten up a lot of the value away from Mike Davis.
That's my guy.
Are you guys still playing Mike Davis?
Yeah, I played him. I played him the week before, but you first got to give credit to Deo for Cordell Patterson. This dude was like all over him. Yeah. The only reason I even have a few shares. So
I snuck him on our main event team without telling Abby. I didn't want Abby to convince me not to pick him up.
I almost dropped him. But normally, I think we kind of understand each other. Like when we kind of add some of these speculative guys, like all right, let's give him a week or two.
Yeah, let's try him out. Let's see.
Let's see. Let me see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And that's why you do joint teams, because I'm never gonna get everything right. He's never gonna get everything right.
Right.
And hopefully, that main event team is doing pretty nice.
Yeah, it's doing very well. Yeah.
Okay.
But I also I'm keeping Mike Davis as well. Yeah. I'm keeping Mike Davis because he's still the starter.
Yeah.
He's still getting burned. Like I didn't even think he scored a touchdown this last week before the bye week. So they're still utilizing him.
And we didn't see Gallman last week. The week before he was getting touches, and then last week or the week before they were on bye, he pretty much was just like almost non-existent.
And Cordero is still getting a lot of snaps as the receiver. Like he's still going out in the
Now you have now obviously this is where again. This is a team that's going to be very interesting, and the team that I'm going to pay close attention to because they are coming off a bye. They've had players injury and out of the lineup, and so they kind of had to adjust.
Mm-hmm. So Ridley's back this week.
I'm very interested to see how Ridley, Gage, how Pitts now,
Pitts 5 games
so good.
In. We forgot to mention him.
5 games
in.
So good. Matt Ryan, nobody's been talking about how well he's been playing.
He has a good matchup this week.
Yeah. So that's another guy. Like if you're concerned about Dak and you need a backup, Matt Ryan's a good guy to go get. So I'm really interested in like now how this offense looks because now, remember at the very beginning of the year we were talking about Arthur Smith is like an OC that I trust and this and first few weeks he like is making me look look. Not making me look bad, but like it's been disappointing.
Right.
But it looks like that last game, and again, granted, it's bad competition, but sometimes that's what you need. You need bad competition to kind of get things to work. So now you get these players back in. You have that week off to kind of reassess, put some new things in. Not the hardest matchup coming out of the bye, and you get to sort of kind of like really now kind of take the form of what you anticipated or what you projected your offense to be. So I'm really interested to see what this Falcons team looks like this weekend.
It'll be interesting.
This week coming out of the bye.
Let's move to the Panthers for a second. Do Carolina trust Chuba Hubbard? Like, do they trust him?
Oh, you mean with the pickup of?
Yeah,
I think they do.
They trust him in between the tackles, definitely early down. I do not think they trust him as far as like pass protection and third down work. So I definitely think Amir Abdullah at some point is going to eat into that. At least I'm worried about that. I'm still starting Chuba Herbert, but I'm a little bit concerned about that. Now they just signed him, so we'll see. But I'm a little bit concerned about that.
I'm not concerned with Abdullah. I think he's more of a return guy, and I think it's probably more so to do with Freeman. Freeman started off when the CMC injury first occurred. He was getting a fair amount of backup touches behind Chuba. But as of recent, Freeman's not getting any work. You know, Chuba's a rookie. They still have to back him up with somebody. Now, the guy that they're backing up, if Abdullah, he's not somebody that's really gotten many running back carries lately with the Vikings. So it's not like they brought in a guy that you know that's.
But Abdullah was getting third down work whenever Madison was injured.
Yeah, when Madison, when Madison was there,
Chuba does not look good. Does not look natural catching passes.
Yeah, he's never been that way. Even in college at Oklahoma State, he's never been a natural pass catcher. He's been a super fast between the tackle, and even not between the tackle, but space runner.
Yeah.
So he's still that. But again, I didn't expect him to get all the work. I didn't expect him to get CMC's workload.
Yeah.
I'm still okay. I feel like the magnitude of the workload he's got thus far has been a luxury.
Yep. True.
So you definitely, if you've been playing him, then congratulations to you. But I don't want him getting. Well, let me not say I don't want him, because in fantasy you want all the points you want. But I want him getting high end touches. Mm-hmm. He's still gonna get that goal line work. Abdullah's not a goal line back.
Correct.
He's still gonna be the guy that starts the game off with them when they're just kind of driving. And again, Abdullah, I think, is going to play a lot of kick return too. So he's going to have his work cut out there as well. I don't think they're going to totally eliminate Chuba in the passing game. But I'm not too concerned with Abdullah. I think it's more of an indictment on Freeman.
But before we move away from the Panthers, I want to do a status update on Robbie Anderson. Are you guys still rostering Robbie Anderson?
I'm starting Robbie Anderson across the board this week.
I'm not starting him, but I'm keeping him on my team.
So number one, last 2 weeks he's gotten like 20 plus targets or something like that.
Yeah.
You cannot drop a guy that's getting 10 plus targets a game. If you're dropping Robbie Anderson, there better be gold on the waiver wire.
But didn't he have like 11 catches for like 11 yards or like 11 targets?
Yeah,
for like
and it's laughable, and I get it, but it's still 11 targets.
He scored a touchdown.
But it's still 11 targets.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of bad drops. And one thing we don't care about in fantasy is drops. Okay, players drop. I don't care. We don't lose points for drops. Right. That means, like what happened to Marquise Brown.
That's actually a good idea. Losing points for drops. I might implement it on some fantasy leagues.
But so again, he's getting multiple targets. So, and you see, are we talking about Carolina right now?
Yeah.
Oh, you should have led with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. Yeah, he's been bad.
No NFL players track.
He's been bad.
Yeah, but so let's just say he's been bad, okay? And he's been basically kind of similar to the Sam Darnold that he was with the Jets. And this was my worry, was that this offense was so schemed that it was almost too schemed, where if teams were taking away his first read, which is DJ Moore, he was going to have difficulty going to his second progression read. And that's what we've seen. Not only has he had issues getting to that second progression and identifying the right player to throw it to, or who's open, or the best option, he's also had issues with his accuracy when it comes to that as well. So that was always my worry with it, and you're seeing DJ Moore struggle with it as well. DJ Moore, obviously, he'll get his eventually, but I think this idea of him as like a top 4, top 5 wide receiver, I thought he was playing close to his ceiling. That was partly matchup based. That was partly it being early in the season. And again, kind of like we talked about before, once teams kind of get tapes and they're like, oh, all he does is look at DJ Moore. We watched that Houston Texans game, and we saw
I was there.
Literally.
Yeah.
He the only person he looked at was DJ Moore. You cannot be a defensive
I wanted to run on the field and be like, I can cover this dude. Do y'all not see he's wide open running these routes?
Yeah, so you had to assume defensive coordinators were going to kind of
they just played the Vikings, right? The Panthers?
Yeah. Who's getting a little bit better.
I want to see what he looks like this week. Yeah. I mean, obviously we're talking about it now, but I want to see what he looks like against the Giants.
Yeah.
Because
the Giants are not a good team. They're worse than the.
I almost feel like that game against the Cowboys just broke the Panthers, because they were 3-0 leading up to that game, right?
3-0 frauds.
I think so.
Yeah, they're probably frauds. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I wasn't a believer in them, but they started to talk like, "Hey, we can be a thing this season."
Yeah.
Remember they're adding C.J. Henderson. They just added Stephon Gilmore, so they felt like maybe they can make a run.
Yeah, their defense though. So this is the thing. I think their defense is actually very good.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to the point, and it's taken me a hard, because this is one of those, those teams, like they've been bad for so long. Like my mind is just like does not want to come to grips with the idea that this defense could be like really good.
Oh, they got some boys. They got Brian Burns over there too. Like,
but their defense is really good, and now Stephon Gilmore may potentially become, be like he's practicing this week, I think.
Yeah.
So like this defense is really good. So this defense may be able to keep them in games.
Yeah.
And I think that's all they want to do is like keep them in games. Like try and get Sam Darnold on some simple play action passes, some simple reads, and maybe incorporates a little bit more running into it.
Yeah.
The loss of CMC, I think, just really hurt them so much.
Yeah,
they get CMC back. You'll probably start seeing Sam Darnold doing a lot better. You'll see DJ Moore doing a lot better because now he's not going to be the primary focus of the defense. So it's one of those things: subtraction,
addition by subtraction.
No, I think it's subtraction by subtraction.
Oh,
you lost CMC and you lost production. I don't know.
Yeah. You know like to move on to the Saints. Are you guys still playing Juwan? I just picked him up because I needed a tight end in a pinch just in case. No.
As much as I love Juwan and I was so hyped about him. Again,
coming off a bye.
Good point. Actually, team coming off a bye. I think I have one team, and I have a lot of teams. So I have one team where I'm like, okay, this is the only option. This is literally the only option. But I don't want to play him. He's like, he's just not getting targets.
He's not getting the targets.
You need to like wait and see because what you're basically hoping for is like they're coming out of the bye, and either one. Because they had 2 weeks to prepare, they've created scheme plays, and then you hope to get lucky in the red zone. Or two, they're like, okay, Juwan, now's your time. Let's get you more involved in the offense. Let's get you that next level. Let's get you on the field more. But these are all kind of hope and wishes.
But they haven't eliminated Troutman from the offense, though.
I don't think that. I think Troutman is the blocking tight end.
Yeah, he might be. He might be, but he's not eliminated, which means he's still going to be out there. So if they play Juwan, it's going to have to be like in a 2 tight end set.
Neither of them are getting it. To me,
no, neither of them are. Yeah. Again, I don't want either. The whole, honestly, the whole passing game is a little bit of a disappointment. But I actually like Winston this week against the Seahawks. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't even know what the Saints are right now. Kamara's, I guess he's still doing his thing. I'm looking forward to seeing what the hell they look like this week. Because Winston's having like less than 200-yard passing games, 3 touchdowns, but like,
That's what you got to do. You just got to trust in Sean Payton. And he's they're winning games.
Yeah, they're winning. Hey, you can't argue with winning. You can't argue with winning. So,
and he's calling up plays at the right time. He's just being smart about it. But that's what this team is just going to be a very ultra conservative team. Yeah, like and this is the thing too. Like you should have been picking up their defenses across the board. I may ride with their defense.
Yeah, I got them last
season.
Week. Yeah,
their defense I think is in that top tier.
They're going against Geno this week.
Yeah, their defense is in that top tier. And so they know that their defense is legit. Like. Good, borderline elite. So they're going to ride their defense. They're going to ride their running game, and they're going to play to try to minimize mistakes by Winston. Yeah,
they're getting Davenport back.
Yeah.
Bradley Roby is now going to start getting more playing time. Yeah. Also, with their offense, Traquan Smith, they designated him for return, so he's going to be coming back soon, hopefully. Yeah, and then Michael Thomas, we're hoping he's going to come back in the next couple weeks. He's still on PUP, I think, or is it IR? So he's hopefully coming back soon. So we'll see what happens. It might be a dramatically different offense going forward.
All right, so let's talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks, specifically that backfield. I know that at the beginning of the season, we were questioning whether Lenny or Rojo was actually going to be the bell cow in that backfield. It seems like Lenny has a firm command of that backfield. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that that's going to be the case towards the end of the season, or do you think things are going to flip a little bit?
Yeah, I got that completely wrong. I think through most of the drafting season, I was just like, I don't want any parts of this backfield, 3-headed. Especially, it was mostly because they brought in Gio, and I felt like Gio was going to potentially take away a lot. And then their values just really became depressed. And I felt like Rojo was probably the guy to kind of be the best bet for the early down work, and he actually was the starter.
Yeah,
they gave him, and then he just he missed. He fumbled. He he was bad in protection, and then that was just it. And then credit Fournette, he has done very, very well in that role. Granted, he's taken advantage of some nice matchups, but this is what I would say with that backfield. If you have Fournette, you just he's for the most part a weekly play. Mm-hmm. But you're gonna see a lot of Rojo dropped, especially with the bye weeks coming up. Mm-hmm. Because if Fournette goes down, it's Rojo's job. And now what you want is the lead running back in that offense. Because that offense is just so powerful from the pass that like it creates rushing lanes and opportunities for the running backs. And as bad as Rojo is, and we like to make fun of him in the passing game, he'll still catch passes if there's no Leonard Fournette. So Rojo basically kind of goes to like I actually consider him kind of like a high price handcuff. Not anybody you have to roster, but I put him in that category. Definitely not anybody you can start on a week-to-week basis. But it just takes one Fournette injury, and then now you got the guy.
Not even just an injury, but Arians has seemed like the type of coach where, he doesn't mind swapping out his running backs or using a hot hand. And if Fournette has the yips, or he has fumbling issues, or he just has a bad stretch, maybe he starts making mistakes, has Brady get blown up, misses a pass protection or something like that. Arians is the type of coach, it seems like, that will put Rojo in and give him his opportunity. Now, once he gets that opportunity, it's up to him to kind of do what he will with them. If he shows out, I can definitely see Arians saying, okay, you stay in there. Remember last season, there's a stretch where Fournette wasn't getting any burn. He actually was deactivated for some games. And Rojo was getting all that work. And I think I heard that Fournette was actually telling the Bucks, they had like a heart-to-heart, like, let me go or trade me. And then they were like, look, this is what you got to do to get that PT. And then when that playoff run happened, Lenny started to really do his thing. And, the playoff Lenny or whatever, Super Bowl Lenny. So, things can change. This is a week-to-week game, and it's a long season. And again, like you said, injuries can occur. You do want that running back with Brady, because he's going to put you in the right situation. When you play Brady, you're focused on stopping Brady's passing game. Though I don't care who's in the backfield. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to give the running back opportunity. So now, as far as rostering Rojo, I don't know, because I feel like if you drop Rojo, he's going to be out there. I don't think a lot of people are really running to go add Rojo. But if you want to kind of stay ahead of the curve, if you want to stay ready, go and add him if you have the space. So that's kind of how I see that. Gio don't waste your time with Gio.
Gio's a guy that you don't need to add.
It's just not a thing with him. So let him go. But as far as the receivers for the Bucks, we got a lot of AB. That's working out. That's working out better than I thought it was going to work out. And I'm like, hey, I started AB over Godwin last week. And it worked out. But when I was thinking, I was like, am I really going to start AB over Godwin?
But the thing is, he looks like Antonio Brown.
It's like he's
telling
back.
people that. Like,
he's back.
Even last year, he looks like Antonio Brown. And if you were asking yourself, okay, do I want Steelers Antonio Brown, or do I want Bucks Godwin or Bucks Evans? You were going to go with Steelers Antonio Brown. And that's what he looks like.
This guy was at one point the number one player drafted in fantasy. Or one of the top two players. And he's almost looking like that again.
And I get he's not playing as many snaps as the other guys. Maybe he doesn't run as many routes. But it's the routes that he runs, it's the snaps that he plays, and it's the target percentage that he gets when he's running.
And he has a better quarterback now than he did back then.
And this dude just finds a way to get open. I like players like that, just like I like players like Deontay. And Jefferson. These guys are just open.
So let's talk about the AFC West now.
Oh, OJ Howard, shout out.
Oh yeah, he came finally.
Come on, bro. Damn.
We should play the clip of us talking about.
All right, let's talk about the AFC West. Denver Broncos. Listen, I like Melvin Gordon. I know we talked about him last time. I just see him losing more and more carries to Javonte. I just don't know if I can play him unless, some injury happens. Let's talk about that backfield for a second. But do you guys trust any of the running backs at this point, or is there going to have to be an injury before you start?
Man, this is probably my least owned backfield. So I luckily have not had this decision a lot, but no, I don't really trust any of them. I mean, there's not. You need one of them to really kind of go down, or else you're just kind of wishing and hoping that one falls into the end zone. I mean, Melvin Gordon seems to be the one kind of getting more of the third down passing work, but he's definitely, kind of the least explosive. I mean, Javonte, you just open your eyes. He looks amazing. So we can say
is he really producing, though, or is he just looking good?
he looks good. I think he is kind of producing. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? It's one of those situations where like we can. How long are we gonna say like Javonte just looks great? Like eventually he's gonna take the backfield.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually, like is it one of those situations where you're just hoping and wishing that he's gonna take it?
Yeah.
Like you need to ask yourself, what is a coaching staff going to do? Don't say like, oh, the coaching staff needs to open their eyes and see who's a better player. Because apparently they think it's Melvin Gordon, right. Or they think that they're equal enough to give him,
They just activated and brought back Mike Boone.
Oh, and yeah,
who they like.
Oh yeah.
So that now it's almost, I don't know if it's going to become that, but now there's a third player there to get touches that wasn't getting touches in the past. So,
but they got away from the run that last game, and obviously they lost. So I really anticipate them to really try and establish the run, especially now. They're going to be assuming they're playing against a backup quarterback.
Judy's coming back. By the way, I heard he was running some routes full speed today.
Hey, man, Tim Patrick stepped in beautifully for him.
Yeah. Sutton looked good last week, too.
Sutton, too, yeah.
So,
shout out to Sutton. I was not a Sutton guy.
I got some Suttons, and I'm happy about what he's doing.
He's been playing well. Another late round wide receiver guy. So if you went wide receiver early, were you really drafting Sutton in the 7th, 8th round? I don't know. Some people were. Some people were not drafting running backs to the 10th and 11th round. But.
Super zero running back.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question. If CEH comes back, does he get his starting job back?
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to get it
After
back.
the way that we just saw Darrell Williams this last week?
You got to be careful about these backups, okay? Because remember, they're fresh. They have not gotten a lot of work all year. They're excited. They just got their new role.
CEH didn't look this good when he was fresh. Week 1, CEH didn't look this good.
I think it's reduced. I think his role is going to be reduced.
Yeah.
I think his role is going to be reduced. But it was, I don't know. He's still the most talented pass-catching running back they have in an offense that likes to pass the ball. He still has the first-round draft pedigree, and teams don't want to just make themselves look bad. I mean, they drafted him in the first round last year. Yeah. So they're not just trying to just make themselves look like they made a mistake there. Yeah. But Darrell, sorry, is it Darrell?
It's Darrell. Okay. It's Darrell. Like that one is Darrell Williams. That one I know is
Darrell Williams has definitely earned whatever he gets going forward.
Yeah.
And people are not going to be mad at them for playing him more often.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're just going to bench CEH.
That was a good handcuff pick because that was one that I was kind of dicey on. I was like, man, I don't know how good he is. So I didn't own a lot of him. I had a couple shares, but if you went with that good pickup.
I know people were picking up Jarek last week as well. Jarek didn't really do much at all last week. So
if we're going to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders for a second, are you guys dropping your Peyton Barber shares that you had, or because we talked about people having to make that hard decision?
We did talk about that exact thing. Yeah.
So you got to So first, I'm going to define what Peyton Barber is. He's a handcuff. To me, he is a handcuff to Josh Jacobs. So if you don't want to hold on to a handcuff that is primarily going to be kind of in between the tackle and goal lines, and you're not concerned or you think that Josh Jacobs is going to stay healthy for the foreseeable future, then drop him. Like, this is a tough week. I've definitely dropped quite a few Peyton Barber shares. I've dropped Peyton Barber over Darrington Evans, which sounds ridiculous in a vacuum because you're thinking Darrington Evans has been on IR. He hasn't been activated. Derrick Henry's been playing amazing. But when I see Darrington Evans, if he is the backup, knowing what he can do also in the passing game, if Derrick Henry goes down, I feel like he would have more of an opportunity.
You've been really high on Evans, but is he going to get more burn over?
I have no clue. He may not even be the backup. I don't know. What I'm waiting for with Darrington Evans before I just finally pull the plug is I want to see, does he actually get activated? Because we talk about it. They have 21 days, okay? So does he get activated? Or does he come off of IR? And if he comes off of IR, is he activated for game day? And the reason I didn't drop him this week is because we saw McNichols pull up limp, and he came out of the game. I don't know how serious that injury is, but you would have to assume that they're going to want to have an active, healthy running back behind Derrick Henry. And again, Derrick Henry's a beast. Best fantasy player overall, fantasy points, eye test, whatever. But he's getting a massive amount of touches. And I understand he's a beast, but you just never know, okay? So I'm not going to fall into a trap of just assuming the guy's never going to get hurt. So I'm willing to take that bet because of the potential upside. I know what I saw in the preseason, and I saw early in the game they used him in a 3-down role, and they used him out of the backfield, and we know his pedigree. So I'm willing to take that risk over Peyton Barber, who would just maybe just fill in for Josh Jacobs early down work and still have to kind of deal potentially with Kenyon Drake, getting passing down work and et cetera.
Who's the backup running back for the Chargers?
I think it's Justin Jackson today. All right, today I think it's Justin Jackson. And I've rotated this whole season between Roundtree, Kelly, and Jackson.
I've been doing the same thing. I've been kind of rotating them and hoping that I catch it.
Ask yourself. So, would you rather own any of those guys or Peyton Barber or Darrington Evans?
Peyton Barber.
Because it's easy. It's clear.
Yeah.
Because what you got, put yourself in a situation where, okay, Eckler goes down. Mm-hmm. Now what are you going to do? You're going to be faced with a tough decision.
Who's the backup running back for this week for the Raiders? Was it Drake? Because Barber was inactive, a healthy
So I wouldn't say that there was actually a backup to Jacobs. It would have been Drake had Jacobs gone down. And then
did they have a third running back active?
Yes.
Who was it?
Who's the pass catching back?
Oh, Jalen Richard?
Yeah, Jalen Richard. Okay. He's been active for the last few games, but he hasn't been getting as much work as he's been. And this has been a tough thing with Jacobs too. We saw Jacobs get a lot of pass game work, a week or so, 2 weeks before, and then this past week he didn't really get much passing down work.
Got you.
And Drake got limited touches too. He scored those 2 touchdowns, but they were limited
So going
touches.
back to your question, I think it's Justin Jackson only because number one, 2 weeks ago I saw Justin Jackson getting work over Roundtree.
You mean Kelly? Justin Jackson was injured.
Was it? No. I saw Justin Jackson getting work over Roundtree because Kelly was injured. One of them dudes was getting work over, but Justin Jackson was the guy getting work.
Justin Jackson was injured. He was out. And then Kelly got activated for the first time and then was getting
work over Roundtree? Yeah. Okay.
But that's the thing is I don't know what roles are what. Because when they bring these guys in, to me, it's just like they're just
what that showed me, though, is Roundtree's at the bottom, though. Mm-hmm. So that almost like eliminated Roundtree for me. So once I did that elimination, and then like you said, he was hurt, but before he was hurt, he was getting work, I believe, over Kelly.
Yeah.
It's almost one of those processes of elimination. Okay, must be Justin Jackson.
That's the guy I would pick if I had to pick.
Yeah. Right now, though, we never know what happens next week.
Yeah,
Roundtree is in this new regime. Roundtree is the guy that they drafted. Everybody else is from the previous regime.
Interesting. Let's talk about the NFC West for a second. Arizona Cardinals. They look good.
They look damn good.
Listen, last time we had the pod, you said play them all, right? Like if you have one of the Arizona Cardinals receiver, play them.
All 4 of them.
All 4 of them.
Like they all being useful. It's crazy.
Yeah, but how do you guys feel about that backfield? I mean, Connor poaching
same
touchdowns.
Thing. I don't like the backfield. I tried not to draft this particular backfield because I was worried about trying to guess week to week who's going to be, who's going to be productive. I think Edmonds has been a bust.
Connor's been more productive than Edmonds has.
But it's been touchdowns.
Yeah, I know. Touchdowns is fantasy points.
It is, but that's always hard to guess and gauge. And we kind of knew that he was going to get the goal line work.
Yeah.
But guessing week in and week out, is that going to happen?
Well, even though you have to guess, you still know that offense is so potent and they're always going to be getting close to the scoring, to the end zone. So probability-wise, Connor has a better chance than other teams backup or goal line running back.
What's saving them, and this is the thing you have to watch out with Kyler Murray. What's saving them is Kyler's not running. Mm-hmm. He's not running nearly as much as he did last year.
You think that injury is starting to get to him again?
I just think he's cognizant of it. But I also think, and this is what I was telling you about, Rondale Moore, and I still think this offense can actually get better, is that he was just going to open up so much. Yeah. Because now you got a guy that you can kind of dump things off to. There's no need for him to run anymore. Yeah. Rather than run to try because nobody's open or because, because you're having to he's struggling to kind of, get through his progressions. Right. Now he's a better quarterback. He's still got a ways to go, but he's a better quarterback. And he has guys that can do a lot of this work for him, so he's more comfortable with
Texas high school quarterback legend. Big secret, everybody. That's probably the best quarterback in Texas high school history. Straight up, look at the numbers. Yeah. But the big secret, I don't even know if it's a secret, but the big elephant in the room that not a lot of people are talking about is D-Hop's target share is going down a lot. Yeah. This year, a lot. I mean, he's scoring. I mean, he scored a couple touchdowns in the last game, but he only had 3 catches.
And that's because Kyler Murray has gotten better as a quarterback.
Yeah. And they added Ertz now. That's another mouth to feed. And you're not going to trade for a guy like that and just not throw him the ball. Yeah. So now they're playing the Texans this week. And D-Hop, has his feelings about the Texans.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Look,
Revenge game.
if I play DFS this week, I'm probably gonna make sure D-Hop's
Yeah.
gonna be my first player I roster in my DFS
Yeah.
lineups because he might have 15 targets this game.
Yeah.
You know.
D-Hop and Ertz.
Yeah. So we'll see how this game comes up. But besides that, slight concern with D-Hop because I don't really know what's going on there. Now maybe a situation where last year because we drafted him because we were thinking about how he did last year. Maybe they just didn't have anybody else, so he got all the targets for necessity. And now that they have all these other weapons, he doesn't have that necessity there.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the real D-Hop we should expect.
Yeah, and a lot of things have changed now because now, like obviously, Kyler's kind of advancing, but now you've been able to move Kirk from the outside
To the slot. Yeah.
Now you have Rondale Moore, who you can move like a chess piece.
Yeah, and then you have the resurgence of AJ Green.
Yeah. And honestly, AJ does not look all that good. Okay?
No, he doesn't.
He does not look good like whatsoever.
But he's not dead.
But
He's not dead.
yeah, but in that offense, he almost looks like Larry Fitzgerald. Like if Larry Fitzgerald lined out and didn't play in the slot, he like lined out. That's
a
what
good
he looks
comp.
like.
That's a good comp.
You can tell like he's aged, he's not moving as well, but it doesn't matter. In this offense, he's doing what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Like every time I see him catch a long bomb, I'm like, how? Like
Still
I guess
AJ
he's maybe
Green, I
using
guess.
like his like kind of veteran
Savvy or
his
something.
savviness to kind of shield off, and put himself in position. But again,
I think he scored 18 points last week.
I know, it came up big for me. But yeah, like I think their offense is like kind of molding into and this is what we were excited about. Is this offense really kind of taking off?
Are we having a change of heart on Robert Woods? Well, is he becoming a must-start receiver now?
He's not must start, but
I'm still starting him,
in
man.
most weeks.
I'm still starting him, man.
Yeah,
He's
'cause the last
still
3 weeks.
that
he's
offense.
been good.
First of all, it's another offense is a narrow passing tree. You have a
Is it
quarterback.
narrow though?
Who? But you got
Van
Cup. You have
Jefferson,
Van
right?
Jefferson. Who else?
And occasionally Djax here or there, and then Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, but okay. Djax gets maybe 3 targets, and they're like deep
Yeah,
bombs,
yeah.
And then Higbee is a tight. Every team has their tight end. Well, a lot of teams have their tight ends.
And they run quite a bit.
Yeah, they do run.
I don't think people realize how much
but
they
still,
run.
Stafford's numbers have been one of the top quarterbacks numbers in the season.
Yeah.
So
He's efficient.
So with that type of quarterback that's playing, I want to be part of that offense. I want a guy on that offense. Now,
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp is just getting so much work.
Yeah.
But remember, was it Thursday night where everybody leading up to the game was talking about how the fact that Robert Woods got nothing, and we kept saying squeaky wheel, and then it literally was like every play was going to Robert Woods.
And that was a play, those type of plays, because especially remember how like bad he was. That's like the type of play like you cannot have Robert Woods on your bench that week.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll bite you though, because then like you end up with like a guy like Allen Robinson. But there's a big difference though. Like Robert Woods is in a good offense with a good quarterback.
That's the thing. It's a good offense, a good quarterback. So
those type of plays, like sometimes you got to give these guys time.
now you just have to temper your expectations. Now,
yeah.
You're probably not gonna give you wide receiver 1 out.
Kind of like Alan Thielen too.
Yeah, he's not gonna give you wide receiver 1 production every week, but he can be a solid wide receiver 2 that has the potential to give you wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
And
Daryl Henderson.
Yeah. Oh man.
D Henderson, man. Oh, I wish I had more shares.
Me too.
I wish I had more
too.
shares. He's been really. He's been definitely one of the major lifesavers for a lot of my teams with all the running back injuries. Or my version of zero RB is I get I'm drafting a running back in the 4th, 5th round. Like that's usually like my limit. And so when I did that, it was usually Daryl Henderson who I was going after.
Debo Samuels is that for me too. Is that like I wish I had more shares. I wish I valued him higher during draft season. Let's talk about the 49ers. They're coming off a bye week. Listen, man, Debo looks good. Is Ayuk going to finally show up? I mean, like, are we going to get some consistency out of Ayuk, or is he what he is?
I'm not dropping him, but he's definitely, if I don't have to play him, I'm going to keep him on the bench. I just cannot see, I'm trying not to hate on Debo, but I cannot see Debo continuing on this pace. I mean, some of his production, like this dude just like literally nobody within 20, 30 yards of him.
Yeah.
And he schemed open. So I got to assume that at some point teams have to kind of understand like this is the guy that they're scheming open over and over again. I feel like it's sad to say, I'm dropping Trey Lance. Okay. This is a harder decision than it was for me, when I was adamant about Fields. But I have no issues,
What's the 49ers record right now?
I don't know. Let's see.
Is it like 2-2 3 or 3-2.
Yeah.
Because this is how I see it. And I was actually, when we used to argue about Trey Lance in the summer,
Yeah.
when I did eventually come around a little bit on Lance, what I ended up saying was, I think by the end of the season, Lance is going to become the starter.
Yeah.
You know? And if they're struggling, if they continue to struggle, they're going to give the keys to Lance.
That's true.
That offense.
How long do you want to wait for that, though?
Well, I wasn't drafting Lance as my main quarterback anyway.
I know, but you got bye weeks coming up.
I'll wait it out.
You wait it out.
Because a couple things, and you made the point all summer.
Yeah.
That schedule in the playoffs
I know.
is amazing.
I know. I'm
So-
trying to be patient, man. I'm trying.
So if I can get to the playoff or the money weeks, and I have him there, and they eventually do pass the keys over to him, that's a bonus to me.
But this is my play. Okay. 1, he's injured.
Yeah, he's injured right now.
2, a lot of buys. So I think you're going to see a lot of Trey Lance on the waivers. So I feel like I don't need to necessarily.
But didn't he just come? He's coming off a bye week now. So now every week
He's coming off.
there.
He's coming off a bye.
Yeah.
But a lot of players are on bye.
If boys drop him, I'm trying to pick him up.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to pick him up. But again, I never had the notion of him going to be a starter soon. So I guess that's why for me it's not a big deal for him to just be on my bench.
But we're out of the realm of soon. And I guess it's not that I'm like, oh, he's not. It's week 6 or week 7 and he's not starting, even though we're like almost halfway through.
Yeah.
It's more so like now look at the position that we're in. Okay, Jimmy G is coming off. He's the healthy one.
Yeah.
Trey Lance is the injured one. They're coming off a bye week. Jimmy's getting all these first team snaps. Okay,
Yeah.
and if they win, that's just another week.
No,
where,
if they win, yes.
So we're trending towards kind of Jimmy like being the starter as opposed to like what my hope was that like Jimmy was either going to be playing bad or there were going to kind of be some issues or at some point Trey Lance was going to kind of show out.
Right.
And it's just been a rocky road. And really, Jimmy hasn't played all that well either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jimmy hasn't played well yet.
Yeah.
Right now,
stop
he
calling
has
him
a
Jimmy.
built-in excuse. He has an excuse. He's hurt, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he didn't have the opportunity to go into the bye and take that job.
Yeah.
Now, if the 49ers start losing, they can't let Jimmy play the season out because they have no future with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy is gone after this season. Yeah. So there's no point in letting him keep taking those valuable snaps that you just invested all that draft capital into Lance with.
Unless you believe that you're truly a Super Bowl team.
Right. If they're still in the race,
right. And they're 2 and 3.
We can ignore all of this.
One more team makes the playoffs. This so it's like you have one more team that can make the playoffs this year too. So
but
we're
talking about the division that has the Cardinals,
right,
and the Rams.
All 4 teams from that division can make the playoffs.
They could, but are they okay? Okay, look.
I mean,
you have. Okay, let's look at the top teams: the Bucks, the Cowboys. What's the other NFC North?
Yeah, but the
Packers.
NFC South is terrible. NFC
East, South. We just talked about the Saints are winning. The Saints can keep winning.
Okay.
All right. The Vikings can keep winning.
Not NFC
the
South.
Panthers too. To be honest,
the Vikings can keep winning. The Panthers can right the ship.
NFC East.
Yeah.
You have all these other teams that I can easily see doing better than the 49ers.
Yeah, that's true.
Now again, if the 49ers make a run, forget all this.
Yeah.
But they're literally on the fence right now. They can go either way.
Okay, what about Trey Sermon? You holding Trey Sermon? Or you dropping him?
Done.
He's
No, he's done. Let me tell you why he's done.
I dropped him too.
He's had all the opportunities.
Yeah.
When you take a running back in fantasy, you hope all the other guys get hurt.
Yeah.
All the other guys got hurt.
Yeah.
He still did nothing. All these guys are now slowly coming back.
Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell's coming back. Hasty just got reactivated.
Yeah.
We're holding out hope. This guy for sure holding out hope on all the Jeff Wilson shares he can get his hands on.
Man. If you want to talk about some of the people always ask me, okay, like, you have any advice or strategy? Like, don't do what I do when it comes to Jeff Wilson.
You've been holding
I don't
on
care.
to Jeff Wilson shares.
I don't care. So I will die on that hill.
So with all these running backs coming back into the running back room, how is Sermon going to do better? I don't see it. Yeah. And then when we finally got to put our eyes on him, because, leading to the season, we were surprised. What? Inactive? What are you talking about? Healthy scratch. Like, give Sermon the play. He was a 3rd-round pick. Yeah. When we finally got to see him play, we were like, oh, okay. Yeah. We see why he's not,
but again, coming out of the bye, who knows?
Coming out of the bye, you have a healthy Elijah Mitchell now.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I had a decision between Jeff Wilson and Trey Sermon because I needed a quarterback.
You went with Wilson.
I kept Wilson. It wasn't even it wasn't even a hard decision.
Man.
It wasn't even a tough decision. I didn't
Man. Now I will say this. I'm not gonna lie. If I have space and I see Sermon on that waiver wire, I'll probably try to scoop him back up and just kind of leave him there. But when it comes to, here's another thing, and I've always wanted to talk about this in fantasy. We need to have a discussion about how to decide who to drop. I think that's so valuable. Like dropping players and who to drop, how to drop them, when to consider if it's a person you want to pick back up, how to pick them back up, and all that stuff. Because Sherman is a player where I did drop because I feel like his value is low. And if I wanted him, I think he's gonna still be out there. Now, if I want to pick him back up, I shouldn't wait too long. You know.
And one set, I mean, you can. And the funny thing is, you can do like a lot of different things with FFPC, with like being able to drop.
Wait, stop. What is wrong with you?
Okay, we'll talk about FFPC. Okay, just in league.
We'll put that part of the premium content right there.
No. Okay, let's ignore that. But then, like in leagues in general, like one of the best things that you can do, especially like as we're starting to get kind of later in the season, where injuries start to pile up, but teams really don't want to disclose who's injured or what's going on, and a lot of reports aren't coming back or coming out. Drop your kicker. You know, you can maybe, there's certain guys maybe you want to keep, but just drop your kicker and then add everybody else, and then just wait. Wait for news to come out. You know, we're not sure what's going to happen with Antonio Gibson. Maybe you're not. You're still holding out hope
for the game a little bit because
that's okay. Kind of gave that's fine. I'll let that one ride right there.
I mean, we do that. We all do that.
I'll let that one ride.
But I'm just saying,
honestly, I hadn't thought about that until Dio said it. It's like, hey man, like drop them. Pick them up, and then you always
remember last year we used to like when we drafted teams, we would like not draft kickers and defenses, and they were like, "No, you got to draft." Now, now they have a rule specifically: you have to draft the kicker. Like, they would literally drop your last player.
I know. Why are you wasting time? Kicker's a kicker anyway.
The last team that I want to talk about, the Seattle Seahawks. Listen, man, they clearly are not happy with Geno.
You don't think they're happy with Geno?
I don't think they're happy with Geno, man.
Well, they did just claim Jacob Eason today, so maybe you have a point.
And if you're claiming Jacob Eason, then that means that you ain't happy with Geno. Because Jacob Eason.
So you're banging the Cam drum? Is that what we're alluding to right now?
To be honest, I don't know about Cam. I like him. No, I don't. No, I like Cam for the Patriots. I think he's better than Mac Jones, and he was in that offense. I don't want to bring in Cam
I see.
for the Seattle team, especially when you have two. I mean, like they need someone who can push the ball down the field with DK Metcalf and with Tyler Lockett. And I don't know if that's what Cam does now. I just feel like with what the Patriots ask of Mac Jones, Cam can do that. Cam can throw a 3-yard.
Man, Seattle's screwed. This one thing you need to know about Seattle. Pick up Rashad Penny. Just pick him up. You don't have to start him. You don't try not to start him.
Remember when we had the Rashad Penny discussion in the offseason? And that's kind of the point. We were talking about how Carson, he looks great, but Carson has had injury. Carson has been injured every year of his career.
Yeah. He's just like,
Rashad Penny is a former first-round pick. Now, he's had injury problems too. But if he's going to be out there, he has a chance to just being the guy, and he has the talent in there.
The great thing about Rashad Penny too was like he got injured, which sucked, but then he went on IR, so then we got to drop him, and then another secret: just pick a player up, any player that like goes on IR, pick him up 1 week before he comes off of IR, because as soon as the news comes out, players getting coming off of IR, especially when there's like an injury circling around it, you got to assume that like that's going to be
that's another player we all got last week. Now he's another waiver wire.
It's too late.
It's too late. It's too late. Yeah, we already got him.
All right, guys. Listen, man. We are.
Hey, man. Go Astros, man. World Series. Let's do this.
World Series.
Go
Astros. Let's do this.
Listen, man. We are nearly 3 hours in. Hopefully, the pod won't be 3 hours.
Wait. Okay. Can I say some few dynasty stashes?
Go ahead.
Okay. I mentioned a couple already. He mentioned one. Tyree Jackson, the tight end for the Eagles.
Oh, look at that. I was like, look at me.
Yeah, one of my stashes.
The guy.
There's another one I mentioned earlier, but I'll get
Scotty Phillips.
Scotty Phillips, thank you. Scotty Phillips for the Texans, running back. Darius Geis, okay? He just got suspension lifted from the NFL. All those charges were dropped. He's still only 24. Running back needy teams out there. Sam Ellinger, quarterback for the Colts. They cut Eason because Ellinger was coming back. And Ellinger has a little bit of Konami code in him. UT quarterback, right? little bit of Konami coding. I think that's all. Those are 4. There was one more I forgot. Maybe I'll tweet it out if I remember. So, but those are some dynasty stashes, just people to keep on your bench.
All right, man. Let's get out of here because I'm wearing down.
Man, we came with the energy. We came with the heat this episode.
Yeah, man.
Like, this is a lot different. Last episode, we was dragging, we was tired.
dragging a little
so
bit.
hopefully y'all enjoyed this one.
Hey, look, stay ready, man. Reach out to us on Twitter. Let us know your ideas. Let's kind of bounce some ideas off each other and let's kind of do this, man.
Thanks, guys. Like, rate, subscribe.
Keep grinding.
We're out.